Amazing. Hello, Naomi, too. All right, I'm live on Instagram and now I'm finally live on YouTube. And I'm like trying my camera out for the first time to be a webcam in YouTube as well, which is a pretty sweet feature and something I didn't think I would actually use when I bought the camera, but we're using it today. So you can plug it in like a webcam, which makes obviously your Zoom content if you are someone who's still really online or doing online classes. And it's the Sony ZV-1. And whew, that's some good quality. I'm looking down because that's where my computer is and I can see what's actually happening. Big screen, but it is high quality. So good thing we showered today. I'm currently in Malta and have been here. Don't even know what day it is. 27th today. I think I've been here for 5 or 6 nights. And I was here about a week ago and decided to come back because it's very nice. Today has been a different day in terms of weather. Usually it is blue skies, gorgeous, no like sun, blue skies, like the ideal Canadian summer, but we're still in May here. But today has kind of been cloudy, a little windy. It didn't rain like it said it was going to, which I think it would actually be good if it rained here because it's quite dry and dusty right now. A lot of the buildings are made with limestone and they crumble. Not crumble because they're obviously still standing, but like tiny, tiny particles you can kind of see on the streets. And even you can see some limestone up here. Hello, Dad, as well. You can see some limestone just above me here. And I think they've kind of painted and closed this in. And I'm noticing like little speckles on the ground. So I've had to clean it up, and even in my breakfast above, make sure that nothing falls inside. So if mom's watching and wants to make sure she can actually see me on YouTube, that would be helpful because I know she's watching. But ask any questions about life. What's going on? People who are coming in from Vancouver, tell me what's happening there too. Like, are you done with the rain season yet? Is there sunshine? Can I come back now to avoid the down, depressing weather? I'd like that a lot. And this is my first time going live in maybe 2 years. I think in the pandemic, I went live a few times to do like baking, which I think are still on my Facebook and Instagram, probably somewhere, some baking videos. Woo, YouTube is working. Okay, sweet. I thought it would also be fun to share what I think are fun facts about Malta that maybe you didn't know. First of all, where is it? Because 6 months ago, I didn't even know it was a country. My geography definitely needs to be improved. It is just below Italy and above the continent in Africa. So you're in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. There's sort of 3 islands. There might be a couple more like smaller islands, but there's the main island of Malta, and then there's another island called Gozo. Both have residents on them. There's also another small island called Comino Island, which is more, I would describe it as a tourist attraction. I did see there was one hotel on there, but it's definitely, it's where that beautiful crystal clear blue water is. But do not be mistaken. It's one of those Instagram versus reality. It looks gorgeous, but there is jellyfish in the water, so you can't really swim. And also, right behind you, you have so many tourists just flooding the rocks. It's not a beach. It's not this beautiful sandy open space. It is rocks, and you're climbing and trying to figure out where to sit and dip your toe in for 5 seconds while not getting stung. Okay, so there's 3 islands, and then Gozo is, I think, just quite a magical place because it is has everything you need. And you would think, oh, island vibes, everything must be more expensive, it's imported, but actually a lot of their own vegetables are grown there. They do have to import some items, but it's just less developed. Although through one of our Bolt drivers, we learned that in the area of Malsaforn, such a hard time saying that word, Malsaforn, they have almost doubled the what's the word, inhabitancy? That's not a word. Capacity of inhabitants. Words. Anyway, doubled how many apartments are there. And I thought it would be because of tourists. So when the pandemic was over, there'd be a good tourist economy to like fill all the apartments. But it turns out people from the mainland of Malta are actually building in Gozo. so that they can have a vacation home. So I guess it's kind of like Vancouver and Vancouver Island, if that comparison makes sense to you. Maybe it's even the comparison of Calgary going into BC or Calgary down to Montana to kind of have a vacation home. It's super easy to get across the islands, but I like it there because it's slower. The prices are not tourist prices either. The food is actually a little bit cheaper than mainland Malta. You can get a bottle of rosé for €2.80, and it's pretty good. It's a local Malteser wine. Um, and okay, so fun facts. Yes, there's 3 islands. Also, a fun fact is that the plugs here, the electrical outlets, are British English style outlets, which I don't know if I have a way to really show you. This is a way. Here. It's like 3 prong. Even though we're in the European Union still. So when I first arrived, the first visit here, I was like, just sent back that converter that had multiple nation or like multiple plugs, the one that you can use for Australia and England and Europe, back home. And so I thought I was kind of in trouble, but it seems that every place I've stayed, a hostel and Airbnb, they usually have like 1 converter, and that's enough for me. I'll just plug my laptop in, and then I can plug 2 USB ports into my laptop. That's what I do. And another fun fact is they drive on the left-hand side of the road. So another English influence. It still is tripping me out because I'm trying to really train myself to look right instead of left when first crossing a road. But still, if it's a one-way street, they might be coming down from the left. So honestly, I just look both ways as much as possible. And after being in Catania, Sicily, in Italy for 5 days, the driving here I thought was a little bit crazy, but now it looks normal compared to Catania, because that driving was, you got texting and driving, calling and driving, smoking and driving, kids in the front seat on a lap with no seatbelt on and driving in the passenger seat. I have not seen that maybe ever in Canada. So I saw that multiple times. Back to Malta. So left-hand side of the road, they have different plugs, and you're probably wondering what language do they speak here. So I'll have to maybe fact check this, but I don't know if it's official, but they do speak Maltese. Maltese. I always want to say Maltesan. I think it's just Maltese and English. So in schools, it sounds like the kids are expected to learn both languages. So it's English and the Maltese language. And the Maltese English is, I can understand it no problem, but it does have a very thick accent. And the Maltese language is sort of a mix of 8 to 9 languages together, the 8 or 9 nights from when Malta was born and developed in its history. But it's a very thick Arabic language. I find I hear a lot of French and Italian in it as well. But the writing of the words is just something so unique. And I have no clue how to pronounce any of the street names. I can't even try. Like in French or Spanish, maybe I can try. But they have a lot of X's in them. You don't pronounce the Q. If the G is by itself, you pronounce it. If it's a G with a plus, you do or don't. So anyway, we're not even attempting. But it's definitely been a luxury for me traveling to have an English-speaking nation right now, and somewhere where I can say thank you, have a good day without hesitancy or nervousness. So some fun facts. But if you have any questions for me, you can fire away. So fun to see some old people, in old and new friends joining. Thank you, West Coast. I also know it is early-ish for a Friday, but maybe you're on your way to work or you're hanging out at home. I'm here to chat all things travel, post-pandemic life. What is that? How is the pandemic in Canada? I don't even know. I should be paying attention to news more. And work on the road right now. Yeah, it's a mix of things. And we have a fun limestone wall above me. I thought about sitting in a different place where there's a nice portrait of a naked man, like a Roman statue, but we thought maybe Instagram would take that down. So sorry, no humor for you there. Also, if you're on Instagram, I'm live on YouTube as well with a way better camera because Instagram, my front camera is so broken. And that's a lot of the time why I'm not doing facing talking stories because there's a full like crack of my screen protector through my front camera of my phone. All right, for those who are online right now, you could tell me where is one place in the world that you would want to travel to if like time, money, nothing was of an issue. Where would your place to go be? Your number one spot. We got a question through YouTube. What's the major religion in Malta? And that's a great question. My guess is going to be Catholicism, or Christianity. Gotta work on some pronunciation here. There isn't a lot of cathedrals though. In the area I'm in right now, which is sort of touristy, sort of local, like they definitely have the tourist section waterfront. But in the neighborhood I'm in right now, it's a little bit more local because I can hear the neighbor yelling in Maltese, which is quite funny for me. No clue what he's saying. But there's not a lot of cathedrals like you see in Italy, even in Spain. I can think of two off the top of my head that I know in this neighborhood for like this whole section. And it's not something that I've heard come up a lot. And on Sundays, I don't find you kind of feel that rush of maybe some people going to mass and not. So maybe it's not Catholicism, but it's all different stuff. Someone asked, are you still going to shave your head? And for those who are new to knowing me in the last, it will be 3 years now, 3 summers ago in August, so August 2019, I shaved my head. Like I'm talking buzz cut, shaved my head. So it did happen. And that's the 3rd time I've cut my hair. I often will cut my hair and raise money for the Canadian Cancer Society. So it did happen. I did shave my head, but this is growing out. So if you think I didn't, it's because it's been 3 years later. This is what's grown out. And my plan is to grow it again and either cut it short or maybe I'll buzz it again. But we'd have to get, if I buzz cut it, I'm going to put some high fundraising goals out in order for me to do it. So to the person on YouTube, it did happen. Go back on my Instagram, it's there. Would love to travel to Ireland and Scotland. I asked you on YouTube or Instagram, what's your top place to go travel to? Ireland is more interesting to me than Scotland, but perhaps because I have a lot more Irish friends, and I think I'd enjoy the experience of an Irish pub once or twice, because I'm sure every night is a good night there. But Scotland would be fun as well, but maybe in summertime, so it's not so like windy and cold and rainy. So maybe now, I'm not sure. And hello, it's so fun to see old friends from like, this is like just after high school days, work days, old coworkers. So hello, those who are still watching. Okay, no one else has answered my question. Maybe I should write it in the comment. 1 second. It's going to shake for a second. Hello, Cooley Outdoor. This is who I think it is. Or maybe your new social media person. I say hello to them. So, and thank you to the person who just started following me. I really appreciate that. Numbers to me mean something. I know we should not dive into numbers of followers and likes and everything, but for me, it's been a great motivation to just keep trying and to keep going. And it's kind of, I'm an analytical person. I like numbers, so for me, it's definitely rewarding when you see whatever goal you've set out and the numbers to match that. That's why I liked math class, because 2 + 2 = 4, and it always will. That's why English was not my number one subject in school. I think it's so funny. Someone asked if I'm going to shave my head still. Thanks for following since then. It did happen. Trust me, people. I used to call myself a Q-tip. That's what I felt like I was when I like first shaved it. And I did like it having short hair, but I found growing it out to be just so awkward because you want to get a haircut to kind of reshape it, but then you don't. And having long hair is so much easier because I just don't get it cut very often. All right, we're going to propose a next question. Travel related again. What is your number one travel item to bring? That didn't work. It's hard to type when you're live here. What is your number one travel item to bring on a trip? Asking you so we can have a conversation here. It's a two-way street, people. Takes two to tango. YouTube question came in. What are other places on your bucket list? I have never been a good person to have like a 5-year plan or like a big bucket list. Greece will still be on it because I think seeing the white and blue everywhere and a little bit living out Mamma Mia movie dreams is on my bucket list. Australia is on my bucket list too, which I think with Australia comes New Zealand and just exploring that. And I have a few friends, if they later see this, maybe one day I will make it there. And Asia is slowly calling me. Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. South America, there's a few countries in South America that I'd go, but Europe always pulls me back. I think because it's comfortable for me. Europe is like comfortable travel, and maybe next trip needs to be a little bit even more, it's not risky, but like adventurous. Maybe not solo. Depends where I go. Maybe Ireland. I don't know. We're going to go back to Deutschland though, so Germany. Oh, hello, Arvogel 8690. Welcome from the West Coast, or East Coast. We got West Coast, East Coast, and Malta Coast. Malta time. I've asked a few questions along the way, and just to get some conversation started, so you can feel free to ask me any questions. Nothing's off limits. But what is a place on your bucket list that you would like to go to if time, money, logistics wasn't of concern or of an issue? And then the other question is, what is your number one travel item to bring on a trip? Something you literally can't live without when you're on a trip. Something unique. I'm trying to think of mine. I'm not sure. I think a toque, actually, which I know is, my toque has come in handy so much because obviously if you get cold, you can put it on. But even in some of the hostels where they don't have curtains, or where I'm staying right now, there's a lot of street light. And so if you wear a toque, you can like just put it over your eyes and a little bit over your ears, so it cuts out some noise and it cuts out some daylight or street light. That's one of my go-tos. And on my bucket list is many places. So I think everywhere. Oh, a pashmina, like a nice scarf as a travel item. I think that's a great addition. I bought a scarf as well in Nice. It was something I debated bringing, and in Nice, France, I actually shipped some things home to make space in my suitcase. And I did buy a scarf, and it has come so in handy because at the beach, if you just want to walk to the washroom, for me, I feel more comfortable if I just even like put a skirt on and not so naked. So it's come really in handy. Just have a cover up. Also, if I get cold at the beach, also to like cover my face if I forget my hat. But the Greek islands, again, for food. Yes, Malta has good food. It's a mix of cultures. So you have a lot of Italian food. You have Maltese and local food, which is a lot of rabbit, which apparently they could breed a lot after the war. And that is why there's so much rabbit, and it's very popular. But as a quasi-cheating vegan, not going to be eating any rabbit anytime soon. But Greek food would be amazing right now. I did have some good octopus and calamari with my sister and her friend Kat. when they were here in Malta too. I will eat some seafood, but Italy still might have the best food for pizza and pasta and just arancinis. I think that's going to be on my list to find in Malta if there is a good Sicilian place to find arancinis, which are basically like fried rice cheese balls, but it's not rice thinking like short grain sushi rice, more like risotto rice. If anyone knows what's actually inside, you can tell me. Any other questions? I think a fun, how much longer am I in Malta? I get my days so confused. I just basically go, where am I sleeping tonight is always my question. I think it's 4 or 5 more nights in Malta. And then we are back to the land of pizza and pasta. So we've been treating this time as a little bit of catch-up time, a little exploration, but also a little vacation. And today has definitely been like a work day. I did go outside though to grab some more food, some local Maltese bread, which is so good. It's kind of like a rye bread, but a little bit softer. And something, I feel like there's 3 things that have really stood out to me in all of Europe that I wish Canada had or should be no-brainers is 1, dual flush toilets, which I know is such a weird thing to mention, but why do we not all have dual flush toilets? Like in Europe, it is such a standard, and I feel in Canada, perhaps America as well, it's like trendy and you're like cool and eco, and you get a rebate even from the government. So I think that should be a must is dual flush toilets because it just uses less water. And you know, in the shower, when like you can take the shower head off and like it's like a magic wand, such a standard in Europe again. And in Canada, we don't have that. And I think it's one of the most brilliant things because you can also like clean the shower a lot easier. I enjoy it. And I had one more thing, and now I forget what it was. Maybe someone asked it. I don't remember what my 3rd thing was about Europe. Anyway, it'll come back to me. Those were 2 things that I wanted to ask. And hello, new friends who have joined. I'll mention again, my Instagram feed is probably a little blurry. It is not your eyes, it is my phone. Your phone is probably a newer version than mine. And I've asked a few questions in the chat, so if you're able to scroll up and see them either on YouTube or Instagram, because I'm live on YouTube and it's way better quality because I'm using my camera. Someone said the Philo HQ travel pillow sold at REI allows me to sleep sitting up and definitely a no-brainer when I'm packing. That's so interesting. You can also comment, are you a travel pillow packer? Say that 3 times fast. Travel pillow packer. I've never packed a pillow. Maybe my parents would tell me different as a kid when we traveled, but I don't think I've ever taken one of those like horseshoe shape pillows. But maybe this one I need to. I just think for me it's not space worthy because I can fall asleep and I just do the whole like head nodding thing. But that's also why I like to bring a big sweater. I'll just like tie it up and use that kind of as neck support. Or you just need to not travel alone and then make sure you're comfortable with your friend next to you and use their shoulder. But I've been sleeping or flying in the aisle seat as well. So I'm kind of prepared not to sleep because it makes me less anxious. So I used to fly in the window and obviously you just smack your head against the window and fall asleep. Am I able to balance my work and touring days okay? Yes and no. I think long term, I'm discovering how long I should stay in a location to produce better content, understand it, have time to edit it, and kind of mix this all together. So that is why sometimes when I post that I have uploaded a new YouTube, people think I'm in that location when I'm way past that because I'm behind. So bless you for engaging with me and saying, hey, come visit. But yeah, I'm really behind on content because you haven't even seen anything of Europe yet on YouTube. So We're playing a little bit of the catch-up game, but editing takes a long time. Maybe you can also write. Still got friends here, so thanks for sticking around. Gosh, that one Europe thing is going to drive me crazy now. Shower, the toilets being dual flush, and I think overall the standard of food is a lot higher here of quality of food. Oh, it wasn't the one thing I was thinking about, but one more thing I love about Europe. I believe it's everywhere I've gone. So France, Spain, Malta. I think Germany is the same as well. I'll let you know in a couple weeks. Is you don't have to tip at dinner or going out to eat. If you see a price that's 15 euros for dinner, it is 15 euros flat, and that is what you will pay when you order and at the end of the meal. And I find that this is so helpful because if you're someone on a budget, like even if you're a budget of 100 euros, you're having the most luxurious meal of your life. You've got 500 euros to spend, or you've got five, you know how much your meal will cost. Versus in Canada, you get if you get, I don't know, you order a burger and then you also order a glass of wine, you have liquor tax on the wine, you have maybe GST, maybe PST, then you have tip on top of that. And before you know it, you're like 1.5 times what you thought you would spend for a meal. So I just find so much sense. And also the same in Malta, there's an app called Bolt, which is the exact same thing as Uber, and you don't tip on there. So again, in Canada, you would be prompted to tip after your Uber ride. You can deny it. Yes, you can always deny tipping, but here you don't get that. So if your Bolt costs 10 euros, it costs 10 euros. So that's been exciting. Hello from the Philippines. Wow. That's very exciting to see. I have not been to the Philippines. I think I have 2 friends off the top of my head who every once in a while go. And I think next time they go, I'm going to invite myself to, obviously, I think it's better with local people, but no plans to go to the Philippines right now. But tell me where I should go. What's your like top place? And it doesn't even have to be the most, I actually don't really, I mean, I like seeing the tourist attractions, but I love a local place. So local food and just experiencing what the energy of a community is or the culture is. So for me, staying like in a neighborhood right now is really nice because I feel like I'm actually living in Malta, not the. Also, something with staying in the hostels, you feel like you're in the local scene, but you're surrounded by every other nationality except the local nationality or where you are. So that's something I like is when I'm surrounded by where I actually am. So hello to new friends and old friends that are on here. It's been really fun to chat around. And if you have any questions for me, every Friday I've been trying to do a Q&A on my Instagram story. And I thought today I was feeling, put myself out there, trying to drop the perfectionist idea and the imposter syndrome that I think a lot of creators, especially starting out, experience. So if you are someone who experiences that too, I feel you, the little anxiety and tummy rush I had before going live, especially on YouTube. We all, I think, experience this kind of, what am I doing? Place of vulnerability, right? But I got nothing to lose. I got good Wi-Fi right now. Also, maybe we can, I need your help. I stayed at another Airbnb. And first of all, I know I am so privileged to stay in an Airbnb and have a home and have a roof over my head. And I had clean water to do dishes. And I'm so aware of this. But I am also aware of what the platform is intended to be, Airbnb. So I stayed at a place that said they had Wi-Fi, they had a washer. And I chose that because I wanted to work. And I also want to clean my clothes. So I'm choosing your home, your apartment, your rental space for these reasons. And when I arrived, I got into the Wi-Fi, but then when I checked the Wi-Fi, it said no internet connection. So I messaged the host and they said, message us if you need anything. Pretty standard. And I said, okay. So I said, hey, it's not working. Sent them a photo. What can we do to fix this? No reply. Next morning, 8 a.m., I said, hey, good morning. I put on my Canadian charm. I tried. Good morning, just checking in. I'm relying on this for work today, wondering how we can get the Wi-Fi fixed. No reply. 2 p.m. Hello, is there do you have a solution? What's an update? I wasn't really pushing to get it fixed ASAP, just provide me any communication. They said, oh, we're going to get a technician tomorrow. So this is day 3 of my stay. I arrived day 1. This is after 2 nights of sleeping there. So it's day 3 now, and no technician. They actually said, this is how you check out, even though I had one more night. So during my 4-day, 3-night stay, the Wi-Fi wasn't fixed. I couldn't get the washer to work. There was no help provided, even after asking. And the reason why I ask this is, if there is a real issue with the Wi-Fi, I am so understanding that stuff happens. It's technology, but there was no effort to, I'm so sorry. Let's try and get this fixed. Here's a manual to help you use the washer. Yeah. So when you say message me if you need anything, you didn't really mean that. And I was just frustrated because I've stayed at a fair share of Airbnbs. So I decided I'm going to do it, and I'm going to ask for some money back because I had to use my data. And the host said no to my request. So my question is, if you listen to that whole rant, would you do the same thing? Would you, after your stay, go through the Airbnb app and request some value of money back for the interruption of your stay? Yeah. I'm going to take a sip of water after that rant. Yeah, I just was frustrated. And the next place I stayed at was so accommodating. We had an issue with the washer. The person came down and helped right away. And just, I think communication is so important. And I communicated with you some trouble, and just having no communication back was really frustrating, especially for the value. My money could have gone elsewhere. And I'm really understanding that on the flip side, they may be having a bad day, or, this is a business they've started to support their family. So I'm so understanding of that. However, I also think if you cannot provide the accommodations you say you have, something's not adding up. Thank you for listening. All right, we have back to my regular content. But if you listen to all that, tell me what you would do. Okay, thank you. Someone said they would be frustrated enough to reach out. And it's funny because I did. I asked them multiple times during my stay and got false answers, which is what I'm kind. And then I'm like, okay, what's up, dude? Let's fix this. Back to Philippines. Very cool. Okay, so someone said that in the Philippines, a lot of people speak English, which is really nice to know. I really do try and learn the local language, especially if English is not part of the culture. Here in Malta, it is. The kids are learning English. It's 2 languages type country. But in Italy, Spain, France, I really try my best to learn a little bit un café. Wow. Un café, s'il vous plaît. 1 coffee, please. But it's also pretty cheap in the Philippines, which I have heard as well, as someone who earns Canadian money, or at least not Filipino pesos. I believe it's pesos. All right, we're going to do this for 2 more minutes. So if you have any burning questions for this Friday Q&A, give me a thumbs up on the Instagram if you liked it, and on YouTube if you enjoyed this. And if maybe in a month or so, I should go live again. But every Friday, I'll keep the Q&A box up. And if you stuck around this whole time on either platform, thank you so much for watching. And if you are following my journey, it really means a lot. And it's been really exciting talking to people about the questions that they have coming in. And my whole purpose of sharing this is just to help 1 person, 2 people. It's been really fun to document everything. It's my camera is my best friend traveling right now. But it's really fun to share and have conversations about what's going on. And don't be shy to reach out and just ask Random questions. I do the Q&A box as well so that your questions are hidden if I answer them publicly. But also you can say like, I don't want my question ever shared. I respect that too. One more minute. Last burning 60 seconds. This has been fun. It's so quiet now. Thank you for joining today. I'm saying good night from Malta, which I do not know how to say good night in Maltese. And I don't even know if I'm saying that language right. I should research that. All right, we're going to end it there, friends. Thanks for watching, and we will see you for the next live Q&A. Ciao for now. Ciao.